Hi, thanks for coming on. Andy speaking. Friday, 7th of February, just coming at 7:15. Apologies, bit late. One game in the Scottish Championship. It's not a great coupon, I have to say, but we'll go through it. Scotland's better than England, which I think is very poor. Right, Scottish Championship, Falkirk Partick, 60-23-17. Wasn't impressed with Falkirk last week. I watched the game against Livingston. The score might have only been 2-1, but I do think that Livingston were better than that. Falkirk dropped down to second, and like I say, the old flaky Falkirk, and I've got grave concerns now whether they're going to be able to, to get back and see this out. I mean, we're coming towards the business end. Pressure's on. We're on them and living. So the only other team which is a fly in the ointment is Ayr United. We got Ayr top on 47, Falkirk on 46, Livy on 45. Then we've got a 9-point gap to Partick. Falkirk have got a game in hand, so you probably just still favour them, but that game is tonight. They're going to need to win this tonight. Now, Partick aren't in the greatest of form either. They've shipped every game recently. Falkirk have got to get the wheels back on tonight. 1 win in 4 isn't good enough. If I had to bet now, I would bet Livingston. I just think that David Martindale will get them over the line. Flaky Falkirk. I just hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I want Falkirk to do it because we're on them and they're a better price than Livingston. But my gut tells me that Livy will do it. I don't think Ayr will. Ayr are in form at the moment. But they've only won once against anybody in the top 7 away from home. They're in decent form, but they've got to go to Falkirk, Livingston, Partick, Queen's Park. If I had to bet now, it would be Livingston. As for this game tonight, Falkirk, I'm hoping should win. Figures say, but there would be a slightly down arrow on that. And as I say, don't forget, they're not in the greatest nick either. So these are two teams I really wouldn't want to trust with my money. And apologies for that. If I said tonight, that game isn't tonight. I was getting caught up between last week. It's tomorrow, that game. 4 games in League One. Annan and Dumbarton, 44-28-28. Well, Dumbarton are down, aren't they, pretty much? They're 14 points adrift. Annan won 3 at home. I don't know what to make of them, really. Would they... Had Dumbarton and Inverness not had the points deduction, I think Annan would be probably more than likely the team to go down. I wouldn't be taking 6-5 tomorrow for this, but Dumbarton are 2-4-5 on the road. They've won at Montrose and Arbroath, both sides better than Annan, so they are capable. It's not for me. Arbroath, Inverness, this game's not for me either. The two most informed teams. We know Inverness are 9th, but they've had a points deduction, haven't they? Arbroath have slipped to 3rd. I say slipped to 3rd. There's 5 points between the top 6 clubs, so it's anybody's at the moment. They're 6-2-3 at home. Inverness have had some great results, haven't they? Winning at Steny, Cove, Alloa, Montreux. They're 5-2-4 on the road. You just don't know what you're going to get with them. But they've won 8 from the last 11 games. So if I was forced here, I probably just would go with Inverness, but it's too tight to call. As is the next match between Montrose and Alloa. Montrose, 2 wins in the last 8, 5 without a win, 2 draws, 3 defeats. Again, like I said, it's just a coast mode. They're not going down. They won't want to get sucked into 9th position. I don't think they will. I think they're better than Annan. But they do need to start picking up some points, that's for sure. Alloa tomorrow, they're unbeaten against Alloa this season, win and a draw, 4-5-2 on the road. Alloa, only defeats have been at Cove and Inverness. The one thing though with Alloa, they've lost 5 of the last 8. You know, these. I mean, they're only 5 points off the top Alloa, so you'd expect better from them. But I wouldn't touch this game with somebody else's money. 0.12 at 40%. On a week like this, you can make a case for having a go, but it's up to you whether you want to get involved in that. Stenhouse Mill, Queen of the South, 48, 27, 25. 6-2-3 at home, Stenny. Difficult to know, isn't it? I mean, recent form's not been the greatest, but they remain top of the table. I mean, Queen of the South are 4th on 32 points. But they've only picked up 3 points on the road. They've played 11 games, won none, drawn 3, lost 8. And they've only scored 3 goals on the road. I mean, you wouldn't back them to find the net tomorrow, would you? That's the thing. Stenny do usually score. It's 0.4 at 48%. I mean, it's entirely up to you how you see it. But on a week like this, it's something you're going to have to think seriously about backing. Right, Scottish League 2. Let's crack on with that. Bonnyrigg, Peterhead, 32, 24, 44. Pretty good at home, Bonnyrigg, aren't they? Played 11, won 7, drawn 2, lost 2. That's a 7-2-2 home record. Ignore their league position because they've had a points deduction. They'd be higher up the table as well. There's a point in them at 32%. It's quite a lot, isn't it? Peterhead, 44%, 5-4. They're evens. 4-3-4 on the road. Won 4 from 11. They're even money against a team that's won 7 from 11. Not so sure on that. I'm really not, but it is what it is. Clyde against Stranraer, 55, 26, 19. I don't like Clyde, I don't, but figures speak well of them in this. They're 5-5-2 at home. Only lost to Edinburgh at home, who have the best away record in the division, incidentally. We'll come to them in a minute. But, yeah, there's 0.15 in Clyde. Stranraer in 8th place. They're 4-1-7 on the road. Wouldn't totally discount Stranraer, but there's nothing in them. It's 0.15 in Clyde at 55%, and that's up to you. Forfar Edinburgh, 40, 27, 33. 17 to 20, you're being asked to take about a team that has won twice at home in 11 outings. And those victories have been against a team in 7th and 8th. Edinburgh 4th and have the best away record in this division. And Forfar are 17 to 20. I find that absolutely incredible. Forfar could turn up tomorrow, rout them. But to take 17 to 20 about a team that's won twice in 11, you need your head seen to. Don't fall for it. I'm not saying that they're not going to win, and I'm not saying Edinburgh are going to win, but come on, this is absolutely ridiculous. Let's look at Edinburgh 4th. Let's look at their away record against the bottom half. Okay, the bottom half. They've won 3, drawn 2, lost 1. So in 6 matches, they've got a 3-2-1 away record. They've only shipped 3 goals. There's absolutely no way on this earth they should be 3-1. There's a point in them at 33%. I know which team I'm backing here tomorrow. You don't have to, but I know what team I'm backing. Spartans against East Fife, 37, 26, 37. Very tough game to work out this. Spartans have picked up a bit of late. They got a 6-1-3 home record, which I think is fair enough. 4-2-5 East Fife on the road. You know, East Fife won here earlier, didn't they? But I think that Spartans are a better side now. I'm not saying East Fife can't win. They're 4 points clear at the top and going well. I just found these incredibly hard to split. And I think, as I say, when you get 2 teams sort of similar rated, it does lend itself to the draw. The same can be said about the final game as well. Stirling against Elgin, 38, 27, 35. 4-1-6 at home, Stirling. Best winners come against 5th place Spartans. Elgin sit 3rd in the table. Elgin won here earlier 1-0 in the season. They've won at Peterhead. Spartans, sides which are better than Stirling, The 3 defeats been against East Fife, Edinburgh and Bonnyrigg, and like I just said about Bonnyrigg's home record, it's very, very good. If I had to have one bet in this division, it would be Edinburgh. I just think 3-1 is huge. They've got the best away record in the league, and they're playing a team which is bottom of the table that's won 2-11 at home. Now, like I say, Forfar could rock up tomorrow, destroy them, but it bothers me not. There's no way on this world they should be 17-20. Alright, let's move on to England League 1. That's games tonight. Mansfield against Northampton, 52-26-22. 7-10, I can't. No way. They've lost the last 4 games, for God's sake. They're 5-3-5 at home. Just like what I'm saying about Forfar, that look, they've won 5 games in 13 at home. They've lost here to Crawley Town. Didn't be able to beat Burton. I'm sorry, but 7-10 is a ridiculous price. Northampton aren't in any great shape, so let me just say that straight away. I'm not saying Northampton would come and win here, but Northampton have won at 5th place Huddersfield. They've drawn at Birmingham, Wycombe, Stockport, all sides in the top 4. I'm not saying they're going to win, not at all. But when you're a team that's not even won over half your home games, and you're playing a side which is drawn at Birmingham, Wycombe, Stockport, 1 at Huddersfield, that's 4 of the top 5 they're unbeaten on the road against. If they make the effort tonight, there's every chance of them getting a draw. I'm not saying they will. I mean, the figures say Mansfield ought to win, but what I'm saying is that 7-10, about a 10-11 shot, is just far too short, isn't it? And it is. For me to back Mansfield, I want 21-20 or something like that, or I probably wouldn't even back them at evens. But yeah, 7-10 is a joke. Charlton Stevenage, 48-24-28. Charlton are decent at home, got a 7-5-2 record. They've beaten Birmingham and Wycombe here, the top 2. Right down to Shrewsbury and Cambridge, who are the bottom 2, and other sides in between. Stevenage done Wrexham last week, so let's just give them a bit of credit. They've only won 3 times on the road, Stevenage, but they've not lost on the road for an absolute age. Our figure said they'd lose at Wrexham last time, they didn't. So I would expect Charlton to win, but I wouldn't be going steaming in. If Stevenage can get a result at Wrexham, Wrexham are a far better side than Charlton. Stockport Barnsley, 4th place, 10th. Tough game to assess. 9-3 at home, Stockport. That's what I call a decent home record. And when I was comparing it to that, that's I don't think they should be that price either. Sorry, but we see them at 11-10 Stockport for this. Barnsley are a better side on the road. They've won 8 from 14. They've got an 8-1-5 home record. The concern is their best away win has been against a team placed in 9th, and all the other wins have been against teams below that. They've played 3 of the top 8 on the road, lost them all. Stockport are 4th, so you would just side with Stockport, but just be mindful that Barnsley are very, very capable, for sure. Bolton Crawley, 60-22-18. People, got excited about Bolton. I'm sorry, I'm not with it. I'm seriously, I'm not. I just don't think they are where they are. You can fire the manager, do whatever you want, but I'm sorry, I just don't think that they're a good side. 6th at best for me would be where they are this season. Yes, they ought to beat Crawley tomorrow. Crawley on the road are 3-3-9. Crawley did win at Charlton, but against the top 10 on the road, they've won 1 and lost 6. Bolton ought to be winning this tomorrow. Let's be fair about it. But as I say, I didn't make them absolute certs. Burton Blackpool. Blackpool are far better on the road, aren't they? They've won twice in 12 at home, 7 from 16 on the road. They've won at Huddersfield, Charlton, Reading. They're all sides in the top 8. Burton are 21st. It's a question of whether Blackpool are going to be at it. What are they? Sort of 6 points off a playoff. Brucey will probably think that they can still reach that. There's 0.15 in them at 50%. I thought that was pretty good for this weekend, because it is, as I say, it's a shambles this weekend. Burton a 339 at home. Let's move down. There are 3 more games in League One, and then we'll go on to League Two. Right, Huddersfield Reading 66-20-14. They've lost the last 3. Huddersfield. They seem to string results together, then get turned over, and it's been like that all. Well, I'm not going to say all season, because they started off. They won 4 of the first 5, then they lost the next 4. They went on a massive unbeaten run. Now they've lost the last 3. I just think tomorrow they ought to get the wheels back on. Reading are poor on the road. They're 3-5-7. Their best away win's been against 17th placed Exeter. You're talking Huddersfield are 5th. They ought to be different class to this tomorrow. I'd be surprised if Huddersfield didn't win. Whether you want to take 2s on or not, it's up to you. Whether you want to put them in an ACCA, again, that's up to you. Lincoln Cambridge 59-27-14, 6-3-5 at home. Lincoln. They've beaten Stockport and Orient and Reading here, all top 8 sides. Against sort of bottom third, they've played 2 and 1-2, scored 7 goals. Cambridge are bottom. They've won once on the road, lost 10 in 14. I can't see anything other than the Lincoln win. We think they should be 7-10. They're 4-5. 0.1 at 59%. It's entirely up to you, but on a weekend like this, you're probably going to be forced to take it. Rotherham Shrewsbury 62-22-16. They've never really got going, have they, Rotherham, this season? I thought what was interesting as well today, I think Paul Warne has been sacked from Derby. I just wonder whether Rotherham might fancy reappointing him, because he's got them up before. I think he might have got them up twice, I'm not sure, but he's been found out in the Championship level, Paul Warne, but he's certainly somebody that I think that could take hold of this club and get them up next season. I don't know what the board's way of thinking, but it's something that I can tell you now that there would have been better expected from Rotherham than 15th this season. That's for certain. Don't get me wrong, they're 7 points off Orient in playoff position, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and even if they did, I don't think they're up to competing with the teams that's going to be in and around the playoffs. I'm talking of Wickham, Wrexham, Stockport, Huddersfield, probably Leyton Orient as well. I don't think Rotherham are. They're a bit of a level below that. They'll win tomorrow, I would have thought. Right, let's move on. League 2, Bradford Harrogate 60-22-18. Funny, wasn't it, at the start of the season I said to challenge for the title, Bradford need to sort out that home record. They've done that. They're 10-3-1 here. But the away form's gone to pot, hasn't it? It's 3-5-6. If they put in the same shift they did on the road last season, they'd probably be on 70 points now, 10 points clear, but it's gone too much the other way. Tomorrow, I can't see them not winning this tomorrow, if I'm honest. They've won 10 from 14 here. Harrogate a 5th from bottom or something like that. I can't see anything other than a Bradford win. Harrogate against the top half of the table have played 7, lost 7. They've only scored 2 goals in those 7 games. Bradford will win this. Just nothing there for us. Swindon Port Vale 40-25-35. Swindon have got going, haven't they, of late? Won 4 in a row, 5 of the last 8. Only 1 defeat in the last 8. They're absolutely flying since the change of manager. Port Vale were going really well. They had a bad run, didn't they? Something like 9, was it, without a win or something like that? I think it was 8 or 9 games without a win, but they've got the wheels back on. They've won 3 of the last 5 and are unbeaten in 5. So 0.32 at 35%. It's not enough, and Swindon are on fire. Accrington Wimbledon 30-28-42. Accrington are 3-6-4. They've only lost 4 games here. I didn't think Wimbledon were the certs that they're 5-3-5 on the road. The one positive you'd say is that the teams in the bottom third, they've played 4-1-4 Wimbledon on the road, so they are accounting for the teams near the bottom. I just think when I just look at someone's record, I think, well, they've won 5 from 13 and they're 11 to 10. You want to see them sort of winning, up around the sort of 50% of their games. Accrington have done Grimsby here, drawn with Port Vale, drawn with Walsall. Wimbledon ought to be winning this. I just didn't think they were good things. Barrow, Gillingham, I don't know what to make of this game. Is it 2 wins since September or something for Barrow? Ridiculous like that. When you look at the home record, it looks good, doesn't it? Played 14, won 6, drawn 4, lost 4. But I can't remember the last time. Well, they've had those 2 home wins, as I say, probably since September. Gillingham were a team which started the season so well. They won 6 of the first 8, and I thought, yeah, they're going to be bang there. It's just gone off a cliff. Another new manager. I don't know what to make of them. I really don't. I'm out of love with them. Watch them trot up next season or something. I don't think they will trot up next season, but I'm just saying. Colchester against Walsall, 33-29, 38. Decent nick, Colchester. Just think there's a bit of a class barrier with them. They're in good form, but the best win at home has been against 11th placed MK Dons. They've got a road win against 10th placed Grimsby, but every other victory has been against teams below that. They held Doncaster and Bradford here. Walsall, I've just slight concern. They had those 2 away games, didn't they? And they got turned over. Was it Bradford and Fleetwood? Bradford, I was expecting that. Fleetwood, yeah, okay, no problem. But the draw at home to Salford last time, I didn't like. I just wonder what the mentality is there. Look, they're 7 points clear with 2 games in hand. So, if they were to win those 2 games in hand on Donny, theoretically they'd be 13 points clear. I don't think it's I still don't see them getting caught, but I do think they need to start picking up some points pretty soon. They're capable of beating Colchester tomorrow, certainly. Crewe Newport 60-24-16. I can't see anything here than a routine win for Crewe. 7-5-2 at home. But if you look at their record against teams 15th and below, they've won 6, lost 1. They've got a 6-0-1 record in that against teams in that section. Newport are in that section. Newport on the road are 2-4-9. And their wins on the road have come against teams placed 18th and 23rd. Crewe are 5th. They're pushing for automatic promotion. We see them at 4-6, not 4-5. They're just too short for a bet. I think they'll win. Fleetwood Cheltenham 44-27-29. I still think he probably doesn't know his best 11 yet at Fleetwood. I think 21-20 is far too short. Cheltenham aren't the worst side, but they've only won twice on the road against Colchester and Carlisle. You'd have to say Fleetwood are probably better than both of those 2. If I had to play, I would play Cheltenham because there's value, but Fleetwood most likeliest winners for me. Grimsby Carlisle 45-28-28. 6-2-6 at home, Grimsby. They've beaten decent sides here like Port Vale and Bradford, but they've also lost to Barrow. So it's very difficult to say what you're going to get. On the face of it, they ought to be beating Carlisle. Carlisle got a new manager, Mark Hughes. I find that absolutely incredible. I think it's over for Carlisle. I really do. Hope I'm wrong. They're 5 points adrift to Tranmere. Mark Hughes in charge. It's just not the sort of manager that would excite. I don't see Mark Hughes as a manager that goes into a club and gives that automatic pick-me-up. I might be wrong. I might be totally wrong. He's managed at this level unsuccessfully with a far better club than this. That's my concern. I felt there would have been better options out there. They've gone for a name. I don't think it'll work. I do hope I'm wrong, but I think Carlisle will drop now, sadly, along with Morecambe. MK Dons Bromley 42, 27, 31. Dons a bit unreliable of late. Had a horrific run. They've, was it 2 wins in 10 or something like that? It might be 2 wins in 11. I can't remember, but they're not going up this season. They're not going down. Could be cruise mode there. They're at home to Bromley. I mean, Bromley still be fighting. I mean, they're not, they're 13 points clear of Morecambe. They're not going to get sucked into it, I wouldn't have thought. Just 6 without a win and 4. They've had 4 defeats. MK Dons most likeliest winners, but there's no value there at all. Notts County against Morecambe, 63, 22, 15. I mean, Notts County ought to be winning this. I can't, when you take teams 20th and below, they've played 3, won 3, not shipped a goal. Morecambe are 23rd. The one thing you can make a slight case for, Morecambe are better on the road. They've won 4 of the 16 games, but against teams in the top 8, Notts County are 3rd. They've played 6, lost 6, and they've not scored a goal. So if you're going to have a bet in that game, maybe you back Notts County to win to 0. That would be my way of thinking there. Finally, Salford against Tranmere. Wheels just coming off a bit at Salford, aren't they? 5 without a win. Had a couple of defeats. They've had 3 draws on the in a row. They ought to be winning this tomorrow. I just thought the price was short. I just thought they were far too short. Tranmere have lost 10 on the road. Their best road winners come against 16th place Bromley. Salford are 8 against the top 10. They've drawn 1, lost 6 and only scored 3 goals. Salford ought to win, but there's nothing in the price. Right, let's go through the weekly double. We landed Leeds Birmingham last week. Much welcome. Sheffield United and Crewe 1.33 to 1 with Corals. In old money, that's in between 9 to 4 and 5 to 2. 16, we've had 8 from 16, which is 50%, which is on par with what I was expecting. The prices have been down. That's my fault. Here's the treble. Sheffield United, Crewe and Huddersfield. 16 of them, 4 of 1. So we're performing half as better. It's performing 50, as worse as. Let me get this straight. We're performing at 50% on the doubles, 25% with the trebles. Just shows, doesn't it, with just that one extra team in, how difficult it is. And when you see people trawling into bookmakers every Saturdays with accumulators, and we're only talking trebles here, when I'm talking about 4, 5, 6, 7 folds, it is so difficult to land a treble. You think how difficult it really is to land a 6 or 7 fold. Yes, I know people that do it. They have one, and then they think they're winners, and then they go and give it all back over the course of the next month, and then have got to wait another 2 months before a 7-fold comes in. It is so tough, and we are picking teams here that are extremely high on ratings. You go back through the video tonight, go and see what Crewe and Huddersfield are rated. They're rated in the 60s. They're rated 66%, and I think they rated 60, something like that. They're all highly, highly, highly rated. So it just goes to show how hard football is. And if you think we've had 4 trebles up, that ended up being a double because that game was called off, Farnborough. So theoretically, I mean, that wasn't our fault it was called off, but what I'm saying is that it's just so difficult. And when people think that trebles are easy, 4 folds are easy, it so isn't. Trust me, I've been involved in this industry for absolute decades, and I've been a manager at Ladbrokes, and I can tell you now, when people used to come in, and I'm going back on the old days when the coupon came in and you had to put in 6 homes minimum and 1 from each section. If you took 100 slips, you'd probably be paying out on 4 or 5 of them. That's how tough it is. And I've always been a singles man, and even back then I was a singles man because there was ways round it. And by that I mean, let's just take Farnborough. You go Farnborough half-time, full-time, draw half-time, Farnborough full-time, opposition half-time, Farnborough full-time. That's how you get round a single years ago. So you've always been able to do singles. You've just needed to know how to do it. But that's how you got away with doing singles. And I did do a lot of work on cup games, and back when we couldn't do singles, because we were always able to get a single on a cup game, and it was always about you didn't get any value, but I just used to look for a team that I thought were definitely going to win and stuff the prices. But it's a very short-term view, and it doesn't work. But yeah, that's just demonstrating how tough it is to land a treble. But fingers crossed we land one this week, and the double, and good luck whatever you're doing. That's it. Bye for now.